Brian here again. I haven't showered yet, but something occurred in the news. I'm watching MSNBC. Apparently, a Bernie Sanders, Democrat supporter, showed up at a Republican gathering and shot and killed a Republican congressman, I believe. I could be wrong on that because it's happening right now. Now, my question is our society breaking down? The fact that a Republican won the presidency has got the Democrats so crazed that they're trying to insanely bring down a impeachment on Trump without even realizing that if they did manage to impeach Trump just for being Trump, they'd end up with Pence. Hillary would not get the election. It would not go by default to Hillary. And this lunacy of the Russians having affected the election, two things. One, do you really think the American people let anything that got leaked affect their voting? The American people think for themselves. The American people knew who they were going to vote for way before those leaks ever came out. The American worker who didn't have a job, who wanted a job and didn't have a job because our economy was growing at a snail's pace, while Hillary was spouting talk of putting more workers out of business, out of work, in the name of saving the globe, which is not a bad thing, green energy. But there's a certain point where you have to balance the American economy and along with the bringing up with green jobs and green energy. You know, what Obama wanted to do was wipe out all coal use and gasoline use and whatnot use and go green immediately. What did he do? He gave $1 billion to Solyndra, who contributed to his campaign, and Solyndra immediately went out of business and took the money. So that was brilliant. So anyway, getting back to this craziness going on right now, the people of America, Middle America, and Florida voted for Trump. It was California and New York, the two big states that had a lot of electoral votes and a lot more popular votes that went to Hillary because they are liberal strongholds. And now you got these liberal, this liberal craziness. For instance, CNN, their coverage of Trump is 93% negative. Below that, you got MSNBC, which is probably 67% negative, and then you got Fox, which is 50-50. If Trump does something good, or whatever he does, you know, if he's welcomed by the Saudis with open arms, Trump, Fox reports it. If he's not, Fox reports it. I noticed when I turned on CNN and MSNBC when Trump was in Saudi Arabia, they didn't report how well they treated Trump. They pulled out the red carpet for Trump, whereas for Obama they didn't like him because he made a deal with Iran to let them get the nukes within 10 years. And Saudi Arabia is as much afraid of Iran as we are, of them getting nukes. So Saudi Arabia is welcoming Trump because they feel Trump is on their side and American side. But this craziness about the shooting today, these liberal news stations like MSNBC, CNN, and some of the regular broadcasts, I would assume NBC, CBS, liberal-run stations, they're going nuts over trying to hang Trump. They're going nuts over trying to find some kind of connection with Trump and Hillary's email leaks, without even mentioning the same intelligence agencies that report that it was the Russians that leaked Hillary's emails that made her look so bad because she was contradicting in her emails what she was telling the American public. If any of you remember that one about I have two positions, one is public, one is private. In other words, what she was telling the American public is different than what she intends to do and what her real position is. So, but to try to say that Trump was colluding with the Russians, and to try to say that it even made an iota of difference, you out there watching, would you have voted? Did you vote for Trump because you saw that her email basically said she had two positions? No. You would not have voted for Trump, either because you hated Trump or because you loved Hillary. Just like Trump once said, he was so beloved by his supporters, he could have went out in the street and shot somebody and nobody would have cared, or he wouldn't have lost support from his supporters. But this is lunacy. They're not showing Trump the liberal news networks are not showing Trump any respect whatsoever. No matter what he does, they're going on and on and on, trying to connect him with Russian involvement, supposed interference in the elections, as if that's going to make the elections, 6-7 months ago, null and void, and they'll have to do a new election, as if Trump wouldn't win a re-election right now. And it's just insane. And they don't, I noticed they leave out the word president a lot when they talk about Trump. And they still haven't accepted that he won. And they need to respect the fact that he won. And this business of some Democrat going in and shooting a Republican representative, a congressman, again, it's just happening right now. This is what you get when on TV constantly these MSNBC, CNN constantly rip at the Republican Party and constantly disrespect them. And that lunatic CNN, that woman who held up a fake beheaded Trump head, CNN correspondent that looked so real that Trump's kid, who they say might be, autistic. So in other words, he doesn't understand everything. On top of that, he's only 10. He thought his father had been killed and they were holding his head up on the internet because it looked so real. Disgusting. And now I hear there's a play that's supposedly based on Julius Caesar, but instead they changed all the characters to resemble Trump and his wife. And of course, he's assassinated at the end. This is insanity. It's not right. They should give Trump the chance to do his job that he's been hired to do. And so far, from what I've seen, he's pulled us out of the Paris climate accords because it was unfair to America. In other words, it was make sure America can't put out much CO2 because, in order to run things, create business and run electricity, you gotta burn coal, burn gas. Whereas countries, did you know that China is not part of that? And China pumps out as much CO2 as it wants and grows its economy using coal and sending out as much CO2 as it wants. So Trump saw it for what it was, an attempt to hold back America compared to the other countries. It would be one thing if China was a part of it, you know. I mean, I know for a fact, I read that and heard on the news that many agreements Obama okayed in terms of limiting the United States' ability to use coal and create CO2 were not equal to limits put on other countries. For instance, we weren't allowed to drill offshore, yet right outside our international borders, I think Brazil or something was drilling offshore. In other words, if we couldn't drill here, right over here, Brazil was drilling for oil. So what did he agree? We can't get oil from this spot, but Brazil can get oil from this spot. He's tying our hands. Anyway, unfortunately, a Republican was killed. Republican Scalise. The suspect has been killed. Shooting Republican Scalise. Others. Anyway, is our world, is our society getting so outrageously out of hand that these news reporters, supposed news reporters that have become advocates of the Get Trump group, have they finally pushed it to the point where people are going out and going to start shooting Republicans? Really, they should be held to account. They reported like many times over how there's a play depicting Trump with his Slovakian wife, you know, the play. Make sure it was a foreign wife, a foreign-speaking, you know, obvious Trump wife. They talked about how there was a new play playing in New York, I believe. I don't know where it's playing. I believe it's New York. That basically depicted Trump getting killed, Caesar-like, by his his advisors or whatever. And then, of course, it was, like I said, that CNN woman correspondent, reporter, whatever, holding up a bloody Trump head. This has all occurred in the last 2 weeks. The bloody Trump head, the play depicting Trump getting killed. And this is all reported highly on the news, and it's done by the news people. That was a CNN correspondent. I forget her name. I think her last name was Cox or something. C-O-X. Anyway, if she wasn't implying Trump should be beheaded and bloodied and killed, then what was she doing? And don't forget Madonna. She's thinking very seriously about going to blow up the White House. What was she saying? Go kill Republicans, kill Trump. It makes me wonder what's coming. Anyway, that was my thoughts on this early morning at 11:04 a.m. on the 14th, I believe. Yes, the 14th. It's not 11:04. It's 1:05, and I need to shower to get ready for my chiropractor. And I'm going to pull a trick today on, not a trick, I'm going to pull a little funny stunt when I go for lunch. I'm going to wear, I think Zeb is going to go to lunch. Zeb with the funny teeth. So I'll do a vlog and talk a little bit more. Maybe I'll bring my poetry book. And as I walk over to my doctor, I will read a poem. Because it got wet out. I want to start up the bike again and hold the, another day I'll start up the motorbike and hold the selfie stick swinging around and speeding. But today I'm just going to shower and go to the chiropractor and maybe read out of my poetry book a little bit to you. So I have another vlog to put up. later. And then I might, like I said, have my cousin Zeb with the funny teeth, you know, the guy with the funny teeth, go into Wendy's and order food in incomprehensible English. So the woman will be like, what? Are you really a hillbilly? Are you really, what do you want, sir? You understand? It'll be funny. Watch it. This is Brian signing out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit notifications, and share this video with your friends so I get lots of views, please. Okay, see you later.